Cyclops once again proved why he's the true leader of the X-Men. I'm Andrew the Geek Master, and in today's video we're going to break down everything that happened in Uncanny X-Men number 18, which keeps paving the way toward the Age of Revelation. To not miss stories like this one, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and let's get started. In the last few chapters, we saw the release of a horror film that's been a box office hit, a film about the terrifying mutant Mutina. But this movie, which portrays mutants as monsters, has stirred up serious tension between mutants and non-mutants. Even so, the Louisiana X-Men, Rogue, Gambit, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Jubilee, Jitter, Ransom, Death Dream, and Calico are back together once more and about to attend the very first Friendship Festival, meant to celebrate their local mutant heroes. The chapter opens with a dark and threatening atmosphere surrounding the mutant Calico and the enigmatic figure of Mutina, a young Hollywood actress, rich and famous, but with a disturbing past. Everything suggests she has a twisted pleasure in hunting mutants. Somehow she gains access to Haven House, the new refuge led by Rogue, and in a deadly psychological game, she begins tormenting young Calico. That night, she sneaks into Calico's room and threatens her with a chilling offer. If she begs to die, she'll be spared. Otherwise, everyone in that house will be killed. Terrified and with tears streaming down her face, Calico gives in and begs for her life to end. The villain leaves, but from that moment on, Calico starts experiencing recurrent sleepwalking episodes, and the nightmares that plague her seem to echo Mutina's voice. Gambit and Jubilee keep an eye on her, noticing that the sleepwalker often talks sadly about her mother, but lately she's been repeating words from the nightmare, saying everyone's going to die and pleading for death. When they walk her back to her room, they find the place completely wrecked, with blade marks on every surface. But still, they don't quite grasp how serious things have become. That night, Gambit has Becca sleep beside Rogue, just like she used to with her mom when she was little. Meanwhile, Nightcrawler keeps growing closer to Miss Mackenzie, a woman whose life he saved along with her children and who now seems to have feelings for him. The kids adore the Blue Mutant, and it looks like a new couple might be forming in the mutant world. Back in New Orleans, despite the horror Mutina has unleashed on Calico, an unexpected calm settles in, and the X-Men discuss their role in the Friendship Festival, an event meant to promote reconciliation between humans and mutants. There are doubts about security and the risks of being exposed, but in the end, the decision is unanimous. They'll all attend. And sure enough, once they arrive, they're welcomed with enthusiasm and affection. Children and adults dressed as their favorite heroes come up for pictures and autographs. For the first time in a long time, the mutants feel a wave of hope, a rare moment of peace. The outliers, the young new mutants now under the care of the X-Men, also attend, although not in mutant costumes, just wearing regular clothes to avoid drawing too much attention. Rogue is also seen looking for someone she invited but hasn't found yet. Nightcrawler gets emotional seeing Mackenzie again, radiant and smiling. It turns out she was the one who suggested organizing the event. The two grow even closer when she invites him to dance. So here's the scene. Everyone's happy, everyone's having fun, until Wolverine, always alert, catches a familiar and dangerous scent. It's Vig, the same villain who showed up in previous chapters. After attacking a few men, he's confronted by Logan, who punches him in the face before listening to what he has to say. Logan thinks he came to mess with Gambit again, and while they fight, Vig mocks Logan for not being the sharpest mutant around. He didn't come to stir up trouble with Gambit. In fact, he even shows a bit of respect for him. Instead, his targets were members of the Friends of Humanity, who were planning to burn mutants, and even regular humans, alive, and then frame the X-Men for it. Reluctantly, Wolverine realizes he may have misjudged the situation. But before they can talk further, Logan catches the smell of smoke, a fire in the eastern area. Vig recognizes it right away as the location of a children's hospital. He rushes ahead while Logan gets ready to alert the rest of the X-Men. And in fact, children are trapped on the upper floors with ventilators, and every second counts. As soon as the X-Men arrive, the fire chief hesitates to accept help from the mutants. But given the situation, he doesn't really have a choice. The X-Men quickly come up with a plan, figuring out how to best use their powers. There's a great moment where Vig helps Gambit, and even with all their efforts, the mutants are nervous because a single wrong move could bring the whole building down and ruin everything. That's when another familiar face steps in, the leader of the Alaskan X-Men, Cyclops. But this time, he shows up leading an unusual team, without Magic, Juggernaut, or the other X-Men we're used to seeing. Instead, he's joined by Strong Guy, Outlaw, Angel Salvadora, and Haymaker. That's when Rogue jumps into Scott's arms, visibly emotional to see him again despite all the recent conflict. Turns out he was the one she invited, the one who hadn't shown up until now. But as soon as Cyclops arrives, he takes charge. And what's interesting is that Rogue doesn't mind one bit. Scott's orders are direct, precise, and no one questions them. Thanks to his leadership, dozens of lives are saved. There's still a bit of tension, though, because the building is about to collapse and 2 children are still inside. Rogue is the one holding the structure up, and she's calm even at the thought of dying there. But of course, her friends aren't going to let that happen. They rescue the children and come back to save her too, ending the scene on a hopeful note. Still, one question lingers. Who started the fire at the hospital? For Rogue, protecting isn't enough. It's time to fight back. Someone caused that blaze, and she swears she's going to find them and make them pay. And that's how Cyclops returned at the right moment. When lives were on the line, he stepped up without saying a word, and Rogue, despite all the clashes they've had recently, recognized that in that moment, he was the one most fit to lead. The Friendship Festival served as a brief moment of peace between humans and mutants, an echo of Charles Xavier's dream. For the first time in a long while, that ideal felt possible, visible, within reach. But peace never lasts long for the children of the Atom. We still don't know what Mutina's true motives are, and the hospital fire leaves many questions hanging. So if you want to see where this story goes next, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next chapters. Thanks so much for watching, and see you in the next adventure.